Last year, my this 2 BHK Airbnb made 9.2 lakhs in revenue with a profit margin of over 35%. That was year one. And honestly, I was thrilled. I didn't even own this property and I was making money from it just by doing Airbnb arbitrage. This month, this year, we complete 2 years of being listed on Airbnb and I was really excited. But to be frank, things did not really go as I expected. But now that we have completed 2 years, I thought that it was time to do our annual check on the performance of this Airbnb. Given the market trends, given what we faced last year, given the seasonality of this market, were we even able to make money or did we end up losing money? And the most important question, is it even worth doing Airbnb in 2025? I'm going to answer all that, so watch this video till the end, give it a like and let's start.
Okay, quick context. So I took this property on lease in 2024, right when the peak season was just coming in. So I was able to make good money right off when I started with a splendid December and Jan. Then throughout the years, I saw some highs and lows. For instance, July to September were the monsoon months, which almost killed bookings and it got me very less revenue. Whereas the shorter months like February, March, they were pretty good. But overall, the revenue that I made was pretty decent, which was around 9.2 lakhs. When it comes to expenses, my rent was 40,000 and then there was caretaker salary, electricity bills and other expenses. Overall, my total expenditure in year one was 6,12,000. And then when I analyzed the profit, my overall net profit was 3.21 lakhs after all salaries, fees and commissions. That meant more than 35% of margin, which is real solid for any business. So for your understanding, a realistic margin in an Airbnb arbitrage business, it should be between 15 to 30% for it to be worth the efforts. However, a quick note here, I would also like to give that I did this entire model on an arbitrage basis where I was leasing the property from an owner. That meant I didn't get the appreciation benefits as the owner did. But that also meant that I didn't have to invest crores in buying a house in Goa. So that was the broad story.
So, how was year 2? Look, I'm not going to lie, I started this year feeling pretty confident. We had survived the first year. Not only survived, we made good money, good profit margin. We smoothed a lot of our systems and our reviews were looking encouraging. So I had thought to myself, okay, this is it. We are only going to grow from here. But here's the thing that I would say for any business. Just when you think that you have figured it all out, it throws you a curveball. And last year, our year 2 was full of them. It turned out to be a mix of some great months, some unexpected dips, and one unusual trend that shook up the entire state's tourism. So, like I had discussed before also, Goa has 3 seasons typically. First is your peak season, which is typically from November to February. Then we have off season, which are the monsoon months. And then we have shoulder season, where the revenue or the bookings are quite good. It's not as high as the peak season, of course, but it's still pretty good. That's what we faced even in the last year. So if I take you through the entire breakdown and do a month-on-month analysis also, if you see September, October, November, December, January, well, these are the months which are pretty good in Goa, and that is when most of the tourists come to Goa. But the revenue that we got during these months, they were not as much as any operator or anyone who runs Airbnb would expect during the peak months of the market, especially talking about December and January. Well, December was hit the most. Last year, our revenue was almost 2.5x of this much. But this year, it didn't turn out to be that great. Even if you look at January and February, though the numbers do look fine, but they were not as high as an Airbnb manager would project it to be. A significant dip we can see in the months of July and August, but these are the monsoon months like we just discussed, and the bookings here are usually low. But to be honest, these are not as low as the revenue that we got here. There were also some external factors. The owner wanted the property for their use, for their personal commitments. So we had to block off a lot of days in these months, which were previously agreed upon. And the owner and we had a mutual understanding with respect to that. So all in all, the revenue throughout the whole year, it kept on fluctuating, but the worst hit months in my opinion were October, November, December especially. Why did this happen? I'll talk about it in the video subsequently. There are a few factors which affected that, but total we made a revenue of 8 lakh 3,750.6, which if we compare it to the last year, it's pretty low. Okay, coming to expenses. Well, the heads of the expenses still remain the same. It remains the same no matter what kind of property you are operating. These are the heads that you are going to look at. First is, of course, if you have taken the property on a fixed monthly rental basis on a lease, then you have the rent that you have to pay every month. That is the biggest chunk of your expense. In my case, there was, however, a different scenario that played out. I had a mutual understanding with the owner that we would not be increasing the rent this year because he also required the property for his own use. So it was actually based on a good rapport. So my rent remained the same as it was the last year, which was 40K. The electricity bill, well, that increased, and I think I would blame inflation for that, but it's not really in our case. But point to note here is that this 6K is an average that I have taken throughout the year. Of course, the bill was much higher in peak season months where there were more bookings, and in off-season months where there were less bookings or the ACs were used less, the bill was of course lower. So I have taken the average of 6K. Getting a gas cylinder more or less remained the same. People did not use gas a lot, so it more or less remained the same. I got 300. Wi-Fi and utility bills, well, they increased. Earlier it was 600. This year it costed us 700 per month, so there was an increase in that. And next thing is my caretaker salary. Of course, like any other job, your employee would be negotiating a higher salary, and they do deserve a higher salary. So he did negotiate, he did really well there, and his salary was increased. There are other heads also like tourism license and maintenance, which can be paid by you or by the owner. It depends on a mutual understanding, to be honest. But one thing which I want to note here is the importance of emergency cash. Like I have always advocated that you should have some cash in reserve for emergency expenses, and this proved out to be crucial for me this year. There were a few instances that happened where there was plumbing that broke down in one of my bathrooms, my doors required some repair, so I had to do these immediate expenses. But because I had this cash in reserve beforehand, it did not really affect my month-on-month operation. But in total, I ended up spending 20,000 in these kind of emergency expenses. And if now I do a total expense for the entire year from September 2024 to September 2025 first week, the total expense comes out to be 6,32,000. Okay, so what really happened there? Well, there were a few factors which affected the whole market and which did have an impact on our revenue also. First was the social media trend that started in 2024 around August, September. There was a hate trend that started against Goa. People were complaining about their experiences in Goa, how the taxi mafia is so big here, how Goa is so expensive, the harassment that some people unfortunately faced. That was the dip that we saw in the months of October, November, and especially during the peak months of December and January. These months usually are very good. Most of the managers make their real money from these months itself. But unfortunately, last year, social media took the wave some other way. Second, I think a lot of international destinations started picking up in the last year. A lot of Southeast Asian countries especially, they made their visa policies quite flexible for Indians to travel. Thailand had no visa, Vietnam's visa was really easy, Bali was always easier. So all of these things did have a huge impact, because then people who are keen to travel during their available time slot, they were more keen to explore international destinations more than Goa. So I think that was also a big factor in changing of tourism trends. Though I would still say that this property was still getting a decent turnaround, but at the same time, I also observed that the guests who were coming in, the guests who were inquiring to book, they had different kinds of demands. So that was also one thing which I noticed. And third, which kind of ties into the other points as well, commute here in Goa had become sort of an issue. But to be honest, in my experience, I was able to manage it for my guests because I provided them services, especially to people who specifically asked for it. Like I partnered up with some local taxis and provided that facility to my guests. So that did help, but it was not that significant. So the numbers still remained the same.
So my year 2 profit of this Airbnb was 1,71,750 rupees, which is approximately 21%, which is, I would say, still a good deal, not too bad, though definitely, yes, there was a drop.
Okay, now is the moment of truth, and we are going to reflect back on this year. Well, this year was turbulent. The factors which we thought were not really that big of a deal, well, it did end up having a huge impact directly and indirectly. If I think about the whole scenario, well, yes, there was an understanding with the owner which worked out big time in our favor as our costs were substantially reduced. But there were also small nuances, like when the property was not available to run business on. These instances ended up piling up, and at the end of the day, it did affect the revenue that we were able to make from this property. And on paper, if we put the numbers side by side, the money that we made from this Airbnb in our year 2 was quite less. A 20% dip really does hurt. But if I think about it holistically, the real value of year 2 was not its profit number, it was the lessons that it gave. And there are 3 key takeaways that I learned from this whole experience. First, seasonal markets are way more seasonal than you would think. It's true for Goa, it's true for Dubai, it's true for Palermo, it's true for Gold Coast, it's true for any city in this world which depends on tourism, which has seasonality of tourism. If you're not prepared for the off-season, you will panic. Now, the hate trend against Goa, which started in 2024, was something which was not in my control, but as we saw, it did end up having a huge impact. This experience made me realize that you can't really rely on one type of market or even one type of traveler. Diversification is important. And third, well, in my case, the rent was not increased because of a mutual understanding, and that did work in my favor. I ended up saving a lot in costs. But that's not usually the scenario. Inflation is a real thing. With every year, your rent would be increasing, your salaries would be increasing, there might be more expenses, there might be more fixations that would be required. So you need to account for all these scenarios also. When you run numbers, you need to do it with a future projection that how your increasing costs would fit into the picture and how can you increase your profitability along with that. And a bonus and a big one. Well, I still stand by the fact that arbitrage is one of the best ways to venture into the space without having to invest a lot upfront. It gives you a good cash flow if you do it right, if you put in the hard work and give it all your attention. What I did miss out and realize the importance of during this whole experience was asset building. If you own an asset, it appreciates over time and that gives you very good return. However, if you're just relying on arbitrage and are not building anything concrete, well, one bad season can wipe out your entire profitability. So what am I going to do now? Well, definitely I'm going to adjust my ways of operation. First is, of course, focusing on pricing strategy. Instead of waiting on that one guest to book the stay and keeping my prices stable, I would like to introduce more offers to attract more guests, maybe add in some amenities and make it more attractive. Second which I think would make a huge difference, is instead of just looking out for tourists or travelers who stay for only 3 or 4 days, I would be open to people who would want the place for a longer time, maybe 1 or 2 months. That is mid-term rentals. I've talked about it in this video also. What will work? Well, we'll only get to know once we try out these strategies. So, is doing Airbnb worth it? Should you get into it? Well, this is one question that I talk about in all of my Airbnb videos, and my answer still remains the same. Yes, because like I said, Airbnb arbitrage is one of the smoothest ways to generate cash flow if you do it well. That big if still exists. You can get into real estate without having to buy a property, saving a lot of money upfront. If you don't think that the property is performing well, you can have the flexibility to move out anytime you like. That is the beauty of it. The whole experience is very good. That has been my experience. However, what I did realize is the margins in this business depends not only on your skills and hard work, but also external factors that we saw last year happening. A topsy-turvy season can leave you struggling to make money unless your entire attention is there in this business, unless you're there on the ground putting off fires. I did that last year, so I know it can get real intensive. On the other hand, if you are playing smart, if you see the big picture, you'd realize that just generating cash flow may not be enough, and then you would focus on also building hard assets and owning a property eventually. For instance, in my case, even if as a manager my margins were wavering and I had to put in my blood, sweat and tears to make it work, my owner was still getting his rent regularly every month. So the ROI for him was still going decent. And that is the real beauty of Airbnb, especially as an owner, especially as a real estate investment. So all in all, I would say year 2 showed me that Airbnb business as a manager is definitely not set it and forget it kind of thing. It requires your absolute attention. It is hospitality and you need to be present there for people who are availing your services. It needs pricing strategy, cost control, guest experiences, a stellar team, and a huge resilience against things like social media hate trends. So would I still recommend it? Absolutely yes, provided that you treat it as a real business and are not just looking at it as a passive income source. Passive source of income can only happen if you own the property. So if that is your intention, the whole game only changes, and in that case also it works really good, like you just saw, like we just discussed. So that was my honest take. I was completely transparent with you about all my numbers, expenses, and the experience that I had. Year 1 was a smooth ride up. I had just gotten started and I had gotten a good property, the market was favorable, good response, everything was going good. Year 2 gave me a lot of reality checks as well as external shocks. I also experienced the rising cost and how to manage these costs when the market is not really in your favor. But I was really glad to see that we were still profitable and we made a good profit margin. And honestly, the learning curve had been priceless. So if you found this transparent breakdown to be helpful, if it gave value to you, if you learned something from it, do like this video, subscribe to my channel and drop a comment about what part did you like the most and what other videos would you want me to cover. I love talking about businesses, I love talking about Airbnbs, I love talking about finance. So let me know in the comments below. And after this, you can watch this video where I did a breakdown of my year 1 revenue and you can do a comparison yourself. And I'll see you on the next one.